Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Our attention normally goes to that which is manifested, like now. Where is our attention? On the things and beings. Our attention is not on our vision, nor our attention is on the light, because we are lost in objects. When we become little subtle in our perceptions, then our attention will go to the light. And when we become still subtle in our perception, our attention will go to the sense organs, eyes. From the eyes, we come closer to the mind. So what is happening? Eyes express as objects. Mind expresses as vision. Intellect is expressing as mind. The chitta, the memory is expressing as intellect. The life is expressing as the all the things. So we are at the periphery of our personality. Now what we have to do? When we thus start discarding the outer things, we slowly come back to ourselves. So this is the technique of experiencing the divine in everything and being. So the teacher tells us, Yadadityagatam tejo jagat bhasete khilam yat chandramasi yachagno tat tejo vidhimamakam Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayamya mojasa Ushnami chaushadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka Aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashrita Pranapana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidam Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. So now a vision is given to us. When we look at the sun, yad adityagatam tejaha. So everything in this world has got two things. One is the object, second is the essence of the object. Like the sun is an object. What is the essence of the sun? The energy, the light. Now here the teacher says, when you are looking at the sun, normally we complain, it is too hot, let me have a cap, let me go below the tree. We are lost. But if we become little aware, then we come to know that which is expressing as light and energy through the sun is the reality. And that is why it is told in our tradition that we must begin our day early in the morning before the sunrise. So when we start respecting the sun, our quality of life will change. We keep on lagging on the bed for hours together, although the sleep is over, yet we don't come out of the bed. And when we are going to sleep, we put our mobile phone for charging. When we wake up, it is fully charged. Exactly the same way. When we go to sleep, we put ourselves for charging with the divine. And after 7-8 hours of sleep, nobody says, I am tired of sleeping. He is so fresh because he is fully charged. Now after he is fully charged, next step, how much time we take to come out of the bed after we wake up from the sleep, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And during that time, all our energy which was charged by plugging with the divine is slowly discharged. And we get up in the morning, oh God, it is again Monday. Why Monday comes? And our day begins in a very exhausted and disgusting manner. Therefore, the teacher tells us this. Respect the light of the sun. Yadadityagatam tejo jagat bhasayate kilam. No, but the sun is far away. How can I think of him? Never mind. Go to the moon. Moon is closer. See? So the moon is nearer, is it not? So think of the moon, the cool breeze, the cool light that comes out of the moon. That is me. So these are the destinations the divine is giving to all of us. First destination is the energy and the light that the sun gives. That is my energy, my light, the Lord says. Far away, never mind, come to the moon. But that is also far away. Then, okay, do you take BD? Yes. Then you got a lighter? Yes. The fire in the lighter is me. Oh. The Lord has come nearer and nearer. Then thereafter, where are we staying? We are staying on the earth. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. Then the earth is inert. But from the inert earth, the living plants come. That because of which, out of the inert earth, the living plant comes out, that ojas, that strength, that power is me. Now see how closer the Lord is coming. Then, what do you do in the earth? I support all the vegetations. And what do vegetations do? They give us food and energy. Then, still the Lord is away. No. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita. I am the fire of life in everyone. And what do you do there? Oh, I become the digesting fire and I digest 4 types of foods. Pachamennam Chaturvidham. The carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins, and whatever is left over. All the kinds of foods I digest. Has anybody ever said that I am digesting the food, don't disturb me? Who is doing that job? Okay, so God is in our stomach, Petu. No, not only that. Then, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannivishtaha. I am the heart of every being. And what do you do there, O Lord? Mattaha Smriti Jnanam Apohanancha. I support the waking experiences without becoming a waker. I support the dream experiences without becoming a dreamer. I support the deep sleep experience without going to sleep. I support the samadhi experience without getting into samadhi. Now see the journey. We are trying to see God. We have seen what the world is. We have seen the spiritual practice. We have seen what is the soul. Now, the conclusion, we'll see what is God. So, we start from the source of life on this planet. So, we started from the sun. Then from the sun, we came to the moon. The moon, we came to the fire. From the fire, we came to the earth. From the earth, we came to the vegetables. From the vegetations, we came to the stomach. From the stomach, we have come to the heart. This journey is called as practice of meditation. And when we have come to this point, now be very attentive. Who makes this statement? This I had told you a number of times. Reflect on this. Who makes this statement? I had good sleep, but in between I had bad dreams. Who can make this statement? The waker cannot make this statement because he was not in the deep sleep. The waker cannot make this statement because he was not in the dream. But we do make this statement. See? Thus, we are told, Vedaisya sarvai ahameva vidya. So what is the ultimate spiritual attainment? Whatever path you follow, ultimate attainment is Vedaisya sarvai ahameva vidya. We have to conclusively discover what is the meaning of I. We use this word so loosely. When I say I am an Indian, then I say I am man, then I say I am old, then I say I am poor, then I say I am educated, then I say I am married, then I say I am hungry, then I say I am hurt. How many eyes inside? Which is the real I? See, friends. Therefore, Vedaisya sarvai ahameva vidya. So ultimately, all your spiritual practice boils down to this. Who am I? And this question becomes valid only under following conditions. Number one, none of the worldly possessions and relations are a big issue for us. A person who is lost because of the worldly possessions, loss and gain, or because of the worldly relations, good or bad, such a person is never going to ask this question. One boy in a college asked me this question. Swamiji, you tell me, who am I? So I told him, you are a fool of the first order. Do you mean Ramana Maharshi was like that? I said, no, he didn't ask me this question. You ask. Now be attentive. Who am I? This question becomes valid only if theoretically we accept that I am someone other than the body. When I take myself to be the body, this question is redundant. Who am I? I am a man, I am a woman, I am young, I am old, I am a Thai, I am American, I am Indian, I am rich, I am poor, I am married. Where is the problem? The real question comes, if I accept myself someone other than the body. See, from here the real spiritual practice begins. Whatever we do, like we have come over here, we came by car or a motorcycle or by bus or train, whatever way. That is not important. Important is we have reached here. After reaching here, all the worries and problems of how to reach are over. Exactly the same way, when we discover the real I, we will be having zero questions. Like after having reached here, we will not ask anybody, hey, how to reach that satsang place? Come on, you are already there. I forgot. Therefore, I have been again and again emphasizing throughout my talks, throughout the world. Any question you ask, that question takes you away from yourself. That about which you have no question is the truth. And about what we have no question? We have no question about our being. Either I am or I am not, no question. There was a boy in a room and there was no light in that room. So the mother shouted, "Hey, are you in that room?" He said, "I can't see myself. How can I tell you whether I am in that room or not? To know myself, I don't require light. To know myself, I don't require eyes. I can't say, let me feel whether I am there or not. No. That experience which does not involve operation of any sense organs, mind or intellect. Now what meditation will you do? To get the glimpses of the meditation is like this. In one college, when I asked, that girl replied like this. So I told them, have you ever seen your own eyes? See? Try this. Look at, yes, the other day we did. Look at the backdrop, green. An experience for yourself. Where are you? You are away from yourself. Then look at this water bottle. You have come relatively closer to you. Now look at your own eyes. Try. You cannot see your eyes. You know why? Because you are blind. Exactly the same way. The objectivity in our knowledge is the obstacle. And therefore, when you are focusing attention all the time on what experience I get, I have seen the light, then I have heard the flute, then I had a great fragrance. My dear friends, all these things happen. But this is not the truth. In Varanasi, there was a great Mahatma. His name people call locally Gandhi Baba, because you give him, suppose, a marigold flower. He will look at it and he will say, "Oh, what a lovely rose you have given me." And the man says, "No, sir, I gave you a marigold flower." "No, my dear, look at it." And it is converted in a fraction of moment into this rose flower. He had that power. But this all falls in the purview of Prakriti, the matter. See, friends, our mind has immense potentialities. Immense. Like in the dream, who creates the dream? Or mummy doesn't create. Mummy, I'm going to sleep. Kindly make a nice dream for me. No. You have to have your own dream. And who creates your mind? So when our mind can create such a lovely dream world, how much potentiality and power the dream mind has. And those who have controlled their mind fully, then all those dormant faculties in the mind, they start becoming manifest. And thereafter, one gets lost in that. See, I'll tell you the meaning of getting lost. Once I happened to go to somebody's house, a Sindhi family, and when I reached there, the Amma said, "Swamiji, it may take 20 minutes to eat the food." I said, "No problem. I'll read newspaper." The old man said, "No, Swamiji, no newspaper. I'll get the harmonium." I said, "Look here, I don't know how to play harmonium and I don't like to start, I don't like it." No, 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 no. I'll get it. And he got it on the dining table, harmonium. Swamiji, I have recently learned Sare Gama. A little bit thing he learned. He wants to demonstrate. So he said, I'll just show you what I have learned. Then he opened that pumping organ and thereafter started. And no sound coming. Then he told his wife, hey, did you do anything to my harmonium? I don't touch that dabba. Whole day you eat my head. Throw it away. Swamiji asked him to throw it away. Whole day, it eats my head. Then he said, but why it is not coming? I said, my dear, you have not opened the key. You have to open the key. Oh, I forgot. And in that excitement, some people get very excited. In that excitement, he pulled it so much, the key came in his hand. And then he started, sa, re, ga. Be attentive. Such a small little thing we have. Don't we like to exhibit to the world? See? And if you have those siddhis, suppose somebody has got, let us say, um, back pain, and you have got that siddhi, then if you take a sankalpa, touch it. It should be all right, and it becomes all right. Do you think you'll keep quiet? You will be searching. Kiski back dukh rahi hai? Whose back is it? Come on. Mahatma. See, my dear. Therefore, remember this basic principle. Having siddhis, having great powers to read somebody's mind, this is not spirituality. I tell you, it's very, very difficult to get out of. Like, it's difficult to get out of the catch of this worldly enchantment, money, indulgence. Very difficult to withdraw. And if you have got those power which can influence the masses, do you think you'll keep quiet? We'll have to exhibit it. See? And then we start imagining, I am doing, I am doing. I'll tell you one of my experience. It happened in Bombay many years before. I know nothing. I am just an ordinary person moving from one place to other place for my stomach purpose. If I can live without eating and drinking, I will stop giving lectures. I am moving only for the sake of food. So, one day in Bombay it happened. One mother and her daughter came. I have never seen them. They have never come for my satsang. And they came with a garland and some fruits, did namaskar, kept some dakshina. Thank you, Swamiji. You came that day to our house and she was cured. I said, I never came to your house. I don't know who you are. And you never come for satsang. What are you talking about? I think you have mistaken somebody. You can take it away. No, you have come to our house. And you told that girl was about 20 years or so. Something had happened to her face. And her face has swollen like Hanumanji. And she was suffering. That time you came and you told, go and take her to that hospital. She'll be okay in 1 week time. Don't worry. And when we went to that hospital, normally to get a bed, you require a queue of few months. But that day we got one bed. And whatever doctor has done, exactly after 1 week, she has become perfectly all right. So we have come to pay our respects and offerings to you. I said, okay, God bless you, go away. After that, I was suffering. Where from that thing has come? Because I haven't gone anywhere. I have not done anything and I don't know anything. But that was constantly troubling me. Why that unknown lady with her daughter will come and tell me that? I was so disturbed. And then I happened to meet one great old Mahatma. This happened when I was young. I went and he said, yes, you have got some question? I say, this is the question. I know nothing. How this has happened? I can't say that the lady was bluffing, but it is equally true I have not gone anywhere. How do we explain this? He gave me the best answer. He said, listen, it is the Lord alone who does everything. He is without name and without form. Nirgun Nirakar. But we cannot comprehend something which is formless, which is attributeless. Then the Lord chooses which form to take and which name to take. And He takes that name and the form and goes and blesses His devotees. He said, you are sincere, therefore you are not claiming that you have done. Normally people start thinking, I have done. See, my friends, when the mind is fully under control, meaning the mind doesn't run in time, space and object. If you observe where the mind runs, we simply say the mind is disturbed, but we don't know what is the disturbed mind. Disturbed mind is that mind which runs in time, space and object. In time, how it runs, we are all the time talking about our past. When I was there, when I was here. Hare Ram Ram, who cares? But we keep on talking, whether others want to listen or not. In one classroom like this, there was student, a sweet one like this, not interested. And keeping the mind here and there, looking here and there, eating the nail. So the teacher wanted to attract his mind. So asked, hey, you tell, what you call such a person who keeps on talking whether others want to listen or not? So he said, teacher. Teacher is the one like I am talking, whether you want to listen or not. See, friends. Therefore, when we are thus aware of this, that we unnecessarily go in the past, old people like me, we don't understand the basics of life. And what is the basic? Nobody is interested in our past. But what we talk to others, जाने कहाँ गए वो दिन, वो भी गए भाड़ में तुम भी जाओ. All the time, the past, the past, the past. And this also I learned. This one principle I'll tell you, try. Every day is a learning day. And when you start learning from the book of life, you don't have to read anything outside anywhere. You don't have to go to anybody. You are your own teacher. You can yourself discover the truth. Provided we learn. Every experience is our guru. So, how I learned this? Once I was traveling from Bombay to Delhi, and I sat in my seat in the first class compartment. One elderly man came and sat, and he said, oh, you are here, very nice. Now next 18 hours we will have nice discussions. I said, my God, now he is going to eat my head. I can't jump out of that train also. What to do? So like a terrorist takes out a gun, I took out my rosary. And I told him, sir, my guru told me I can tell bluffs easily. My guru told me, whenever you travel, keep on chanting Lord's name. So according to my guru's order, I cannot talk. So you'll excuse me. But you can tell what you like to tell. And this is what started. If you want to make any old person happy, ask them about their past and don't listen. They keep on talking non-stop. He started. We were in Kabul and from there we migrated to Rawalpindi, and then we came to Karachi, and there we failed, so we came to Ranchi. Then from Ranchi we could not, then we came to USA. Ulhasnagar Sindhi Association is called USA. So we came to USA, and then blah, 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 continued. And then my children told, Papa, your health is not good here because of the humidity. Why don't you go to Delhi? And then, and whenever his spirit used to die, I used to say, what happened? Again he'll start revive, like pruning. Again he'll revive. And ultimately when he came to this, now they told me, you go to Delhi. So I got into this compartment. Then what happened? Then I started telling about me. Wow. Then what happened? Be attentive. The moment you come in the present, you have nothing to talk. We only talk ego, ego, ego. What is the ego? Ego is a mule carrying the burden of total past, possessions and relations. And a mule cannot be comfortable because the load is on his head. And what is exactly the sleep? We unload everything. In sleep, we have no possessions. In sleep, we have no relations. We are nobody. And therefore we are happy. See, my friends, therefore, when this process of learning continues, then we will understand the meaning of this mantra. Vedaisya sarvai ahameva vedyaha. The purpose of all the scriptures is only this. Discover who is this I. Like today we went to this Thai temple, and there we have seen Lord Buddha's statue, and one of the statue had the big snake coming from backside and a hood of 7 mouths. You will see in all these pictures, whenever the snake comes from backside and 7 hoods, this is a representation of awakening of the Kundalini. Because there are 7 chakras. The Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya and Sahasrara. These are the 7 chakras. Now when you are thus working on this I, who is this I? So we start discarding first the 4 experiences. Waking experience is logic dominant. Everything is logical, is a waking experience. Why are you late? No, because there was a traffic jam. Logic, cause, effect, cause, effect. Why he is having a problem? He ate beyond his capacity. Therefore, there is a traffic jam in his inside. Cause, effect. It's a waking state. Then it is the intellect, buddhi pradhan. Then second is the dream. Dream is mind oriented. Mind has no logic. All chaos. And therefore, all our dreams have no logic. You can dream anything and there is no control over it. See? Then the deep sleep is ahankar pradhan. Here ahankar is not ego, ahankar is the tattva, essence. And therefore in deep sleep, our hair grow, our nail grow, because life is still functional there. And in samadhi, it is chitta pradhan. All the memory is stored, not deleted. Therefore, if you are sitting for meditation or samadhi and you ask somebody, hey, get me a cup of tea, and by the time tea comes, you are deeply in the nirvikalpa samadhi. And you come out of the samadhi, maybe after 20 years, you will ask first question, Where is my cup of tea? Because it was stored, the last thought. And all of them belong to the mind. See here, the Brahmaji's statues and temples are maximum. Brahmaji are 4 heads. The outer total world's 4 heads are Brahmaji, and individual Brahmaji is this inner instrument. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. The mind, intellect, the Ahankar, the ownership, and the Chitta, the memory. That alone creates the whole world. Therefore, Vedaisya Sarvai Ahameva Vidyaha. Then we come to know the experiences gathered through the intellect in the waking are illuminated by me without becoming a waker. The experiences gathered in the dream through the mind are illuminated by me, but I don't become a dreamer. The experience of the deep sleep of nothingness is illuminated by me, but I am still there. And experience of the samadhi which began and ends. But there is one principle which never began, which never ends. Now look within. Do we have the experience of our birth? Nobody has. Because we are not born. It is the body that is born. And then we don't have the experience that we are growing. Therefore, many old people have got this pathetic joke. One old man in Calcutta asked me this question. He was very shorty and putting a short and a cap. Early morning, 6 o'clock. I was sitting nicely near a lake. He came and stood in front of me. Excuse me, can you tell me what is my age? I looked at him. In the morning, 6 o'clock, to an unknown person, you ask this question. What can you think about him? I told him, you are 3 years of age. Such a question is asked only by stupid children. No, tell me. Then I told him, you are 81 years young. Yes, you are correctly understood. I never feel I am old. You can never feel. Because all experiences are in the mind. Mind is not influenced by time. Because time is a baby of mind. Those of you who have come on your own, you will be enjoying my talk. Those of you who are tied down with a lead and brought, come, chalo na. And then you come. See? It's so simple. And therefore, this I is neither born, nor grows, nor dies. None has experience of death. And ultimate, we can never experience our absence. Discover this. And then we come to know that it is not a product of good life. It is not a product of chanting the Lord's name. It is not a product of giving charity. It is not a product of doing yoga. It is not a product of studying. But it is a process of removing all the garbage that is collected on us. Drop the world, drop the body, drop the sense organs, drop the mind, drop the intellect, drop the I. So what I am telling you, you are thinking how to do that. You every day do, man. Every day you do this. When we go to sleep, what we do? We drop the world. We drop all our achievements and failures. We drop the places around us. We come to our home. Then in the home also, we drop every room. We come to in our own room. There also, we drop everything, go below the quilt. When everything is dropped, switch off lights, everything is done. Thereafter, last mantra, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, I want to sleep. Till such time, I and want is, sleep doesn't begin. The moment this I and the want is dropped, the sleep begins even in the satsanga. This is called as Jhatka meditation. See, friends, the real spiritual practice is get rid of this I through wisdom. See, like the hunger is in the stomach. The food cannot remain in the plate and your hunger is satiated. It must replace that hunger sensation in the stomach by adding the food. Exactly the same way. All wrong notions are only in the mind. And wrong notions have to be corrected with right understanding without creating new notions. Otherwise, earlier I was a bhogi, now I am a yogi. Earlier I used to wake up very late, 10 o'clock. Now I wake up very early, quarter to 10. Earlier I used to take non-vegetarian every day. Now I take alternate days. Earlier I used to drink a lot of wine. Now I drink dudu, milk. We are simply replacing that I. Friends, wrong notions must be deleted without creating new notion. Today we are leading only a notional life. In one university in US, I think I told, the professor told me, Mr. Swami, you presented all the concepts very well. I said, I did not present concept. You are a professor is a concept. You are successful is a concept. You are a husband is a concept. You are a wife is a concept. You are is not a concept. See, friends, how much time, energy, and efforts it takes to discover the real I. That much time, that much energy, and that much efforts are required for a wife to become a woman. As much is required by a husband to become a man. What will be the answer? Answer will be man can become a husband, husband can never become a man because he is already a man. He doesn't have to become. He became husband because of the conditioning of the wife. Get this point across. That one, because of conditioning, appears to have become many, but it has never become many. In Delhi, in Lakshmi Narayan temple, I got my talks every year during Navratri. There is one small temple there inside, Lord Krishna standing. When you enter that much door, that's you can't go inside. It's right in front, there is a, like this bottle, Krishna is standing nicely. And all the three sides, there are only mirrors. And when you look left side, you see a array of Krishna's reflections, thousands of them. You look back, right side, so many of them. Has that Krishna become many? Now, go further, subjectively. This also I told you number of times. I as a man, son to my father, husband to my wife, and father to my son. Have I become three? Who am I then really? Am I a son really? Or am I a husband really? Or am I a father really? Or am I a man really? Then we play our roles perfectly well. When you are in front of your father, behave properly, don't argue, don't shout, and be obedient to him. This is your role you have to play. When you are in front of your son, let him talk, don't give him money. See? And when you are in front of your wife, don't talk. Whether she is talking or not, you should observe more. I received one WhatsApp YouTube clip. In that it is told one lady sued him, her husband, because for 62 years he was living as dumb and deaf, so that he doesn't have to listen to his wife, he doesn't have to talk. But after 62 years, it was discovered that he is normal. She sued him. He should be given Oscar. See, friends, play your role. And when you play your role, play perfectly well. This is all spiritual life. See? So, we are somebody only for some period. Like now we are all sitting here. Now here I am a speaker and you are supposed to be a listener. So I am talking, doing my job sincerely for last 48 minutes. Don't answer this question. After 48 minutes, how many minutes you have been listening to me? Huh? Even this is not heard. The mind has gone here and there. This is called as real meditation. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are supposed to do, you should be available 100%. 100% presence is God realization. See, friends, either we are lost in past tense or we are lost in future tense, and therefore our life is full of tensions. Now, if you drop the past tense and the future tense, present is also not a tense. Then it is only the presence. Present without the past and the future is presence. And to attain this, it is not half an hour job, it is 24/7. Our understanding of spiritual life is like what? Like one lady or a man. Let me give example of a man. Sometimes the ammas become angry with me. You always give examples. So there was a man, and he went to the doctor. He said, "Doctor Saab, I want to reduce my weight. Please tell me what I should do." He said, "Man, come on, run every day 8 miles, and then tell me after 1 month. I guarantee you will lose half the weight." He said, "Okay, sir." He went. After 1 month, he called the doctor. "Doctor Saab, remember I came for losing the weight?" "Yes." "You told me to run 8 miles, I did it. Weight is reduced." "Weight is reduced, but there one problem has come up." "What is the problem?" "I am 280 miles away from my house." He kept on running. Arey Baba. Exactly the same way we are told about meditation, our condition is like this. Half an hour meditation, rest of the day frustration. We have to live 24/7 in meditation. And what is that living in meditation? See? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogataan atmannevatmana tushta sthita prajna sadochate. When we are no more persecuted by the burden of desires. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Whatever is there is perfectly all right. Accept the world as it is. You will never be disturbed in life. See, friends, our condition is like the NRIs from USA when they come to India. One person was driving the car. And suddenly on the highway, a big group of buffaloes were crossing. He became so annoyed. Swamiji, what is this? I said, this is buffaloes. Why they are here? I said, you ask them. I am not a buffalo. But why they don't control? I said, I am not the owner. Then I told him, tell me, you have a driving license or the buffaloes have a walking license? Who has the license? You have the license. You should have the ability to negotiate and go through. If you are walking the spiritual path, you should be perfect and accept the imperfect world as it is. But normally what happens? Perfectionists suffer perfectly in this world because they expect perfection from others. Who is the real perfectionist, spiritual seeker? He is perfect himself, but doesn't expect perfection from anybody. One day in one house, a Bengali house, the man, after my lunch and all that, took me to his bedroom. He said, Swamiji, I want to show you something. I went. 3-4 places, the comb were kept, one on the bed, one on the dressing table, one in a window, like that, 3-4 places. And all the combs have a lot of hair in there. Swamiji, see. So I said, okay, I lifted one and started cleaning. No, you don't clean. I said, you showed me to clean. No, this is what my wife does. How many times I told her, don't do like this. But she never listens. She is so shabby. I am fed up. You tell, she may listen. I said, all right. I said, Mama, there is a complaint lodged against you. Please come. You are answerable to this. And she was happy-go-lucky, round figure, and she came nicely. And her mouth was full of pan. She can't talk because there was a lot of juice inside. I said, look here, this is complaint against you. Why do you do like this thing? Now she has to talk. So from there, where she was standing, the window is there. From there she gave a 50% out, 50% inside. And then she took her own sari and cleaned. Now I tell you. He is jealous of me. He is bald. I got lot of hair. And therefore he is complaining. And she was so happy. Friends, we live perfectly. Don't expect perfection from the world. See, friends. Now I'll take it deeper. When and how can this happen effortlessly? Only under one condition. When you see yourself in everyone. My right hand doesn't have to love the left hand because they may be two, but they are one. Now to understand this, one experience I tell you in Bombay. On the last day after my lecture was over, there was one mother, young mother, and she got her child, son, maybe about 7-8 months. Swamiji, I wanted to come all these days, but it was not possible, blah, blah, blah. Today I had decided to come and give my son blessings. So I was sitting, she came at the end. I was sitting cross-legged. Put the child in my lap. I said, look here, I am sitting on Vyasapit. People have given me money as Dakshina, but you are so great. You have given me your son as Dakshina. Therefore, now I will make a Swami out of him. Thank you so much. And she started crying. No, 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 Swamiji, I have not given you. I said, look here, this is a place you have given. Once you give, you can't take it back. And she became so miserable, and I was teasing her, enjoying myself. After a few minutes, the child did what he should not have done. All the fragrance started coming. And when that fragrance started coming, I told that mother, oh God, this rubbish fellow, he thinks I'm a toilet or what? Take him away. And when I told her like that, her face became bright. Swamiji, you are great. I said, what great? Last 3 days he has not gone. By your touch he has gone. Now look here. For the mother, the child doing shit in somebody else's lap is not a bad event because that is her child. And there are other ladies standing there. She says, Swamiji, these days the children, how to bring the children, they don't know. These girls are useless. She became a philosopher. But the mother was happy that my child has evacuated in the right place. When you love, ugliness looks beauty. Stupidity is wisdom. See, my friends, this happens between the mother and the child. The same lady with other children, oh God, how terrible. What is the reason? Because she has seen herself in her own child. All the great masters live in this experience. They see themselves reflected in everything and being. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atma eva abhut vijanatah tatra ko moha kashokaha ekatva manupashyatah. Upanishad says, when one comes to discover this whole world is my own expanse, how there can be likes and dislikes? See? Whatever is included in the definition of I, we don't hate it. I'll give 1 or 2 examples. First, a dirty example. Then you will remember. We all know in our large intestine, what are the contents? Fecal material. In our bladder, what is it? Urine. Now think of that. You don't get disgusted. But the moment it comes out, we don't want to look at it because it is separated from the definition of I. Another example, there was one very sweet girl in Delhi. She used to sit in the front only and listen. Third day, I went to somebody's house for breakfast. There she came. I said, hey, today here there is no satsanga. Why you have come? Swamiji, this is my house. I said, okay. Then I said, okay, let mummy prepare breakfast. You come and sit with me. So that was the first time in my lifetime. I say, you come, sit. I took her hand in my hand. And her nails were very long, red color. I had never seen anybody's nails so closely. I said, let me see. I said, hey, what do you eat? Why your nail have become red like this thing? And how they are nicely growing? Why my nail don't grow like that? So I mean, we have polished them and we have colored them actually, And she was feeling very uneasy. And all over. Next day she came for satsang. And she was hiding her finger like this. After talk, I said, hey, come here, show me. And I took her hand forcibly and saw she has cut all of them. I said, hey, why did you cut? Swamiji was feeling very embarrassed, therefore I cut. I said, never mind, I like those nails. Where are they? Give me. Swamiji, I have thrown them away. Be attentive. When the nails are with your body, they are beautiful. The moment they are separated from the body, they become garbage, is it not? Therefore, what is real spirituality? Perceive the differences, but don't differentiate on account of the differences. Like we perceive the differences. Legs are not the hands, eyes are not the nose, and yet there is no differentiation. Think. And not only that, there is no competition. One day, my eyes were crying. I said, hey, why are you crying? Every day, only the tongue is getting nice thing to taste, chutney, masala, and I don't get anything to taste. I said, okay, don't cry. I took the chutney and put in the eyes. Eat. There is no competition. See, friends, living with this experience 24/7 is living in God. Name dveshosti na priya. To none I hate, and to none I have a bias acceptance. Everything is as it is. Now be attentive. This we don't have to do, my friends. It is. Like eyes are illuminating all colors and forms. They are not biased in favor or against any color or any form. That is the nature. Mind is also supporting all kinds of thoughts. Mind is not biased for or against any thought. Go further. The absolute self, whatever name you give, is not biased for or against waking, dream, deep sleep or samadhi. We are not biased towards childhood, teenage, middle age, old age. They come and go. This is the meaning of I. But this has to be applied on oneself, not on others. Now, the next important step. All that we have studied in Vedanta till now is meant to be practiced on oneself, not on others. I tell you about this. Once there was one doctor, elderly one. He was the president of All India Heart Surgeons Association. Very nice, very well known in the whole country. One day he had some heart problem and his heart operation was done. So his friend was very close to me, also very old. He told me, Swamiji, please come to my friend and bless him. So when I went to him, ha ha hoo, I started. Hey, young man, congratulations. You had a heart attack. You know why? Because you have a heart. Therefore, a heart attack. A person who doesn't have a heart cannot have a heart attack. I thought I had got a very good joke. And he was feeling so disgusted. Next time he came to meet me. Those days I used to have migraine. You know migraine? Half headache. Tremendous headache. And I was tossing on the bed. He came. He said, Swamiji, I had just come to talk to you. I said, please go away. Come after 2 hours. Now my headache is at its peak. I cannot talk to you. He said, I will not go. Congratulations. You have a headache because you have a head. I said, look here. Don't catch pathetic jokes. He said, do you remember when you came what you told me? I said, do you know? Heart was yours. Head is mine. See, friends, this Vedantic knowledge is not meant for applying on others. It is meant for applying on oneself. With others, accept them as different expressions of God. then we come to know. There is no difference between us. We have the common space, we have got a common air, we have got a common fire, we have got common water, we have got common earth. When thus we are at peace with ourselves, we will be at peace with the whole world. Yesterday we did one experiment. There's two things. I promise you will not do it. But this is the simplest way. Before we talk to anybody on any topic, ask a question to yourself. Is it necessary to talk? How much we keep on talking? Blah, 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 blah. No need. Similarly, this will curtail our going in the past. Friends, 8 hours of physical work, energy consumption is equal to 1 hour of talk, energy consumption wise. 8 hours of talk, energy consumption is equal to 15 minutes of intense thinking. And how much time and energy we waste only. Keep on talking to yourself. Give it a chance, two things. Before we talk to anybody on any topic, ask a question. Is it necessary to talk? And stop talking to yourself. This stop talking to yourself, I have named this as a yoga. And when to start? Start right in the morning. But when? When you are sitting on the commode. I call it as commode yoga. Sit down and don't talk to yourself. One day, by God's grace, we will discover whenever we talk to ourselves, we talk about the future. And there is more of worries than that of planning. I don't know what is going to happen to this world. If you don't know, relax. If you know, be prepared. Where is the place for worry? Worry is an attempt to solve the non-existing problems. Every time the same thing happens. Like here, when I was coming, I was told, Swamiji, keep $500-600 with you. They may ask. So I was talking to myself in my mind. Should I keep them in my upper pocket, or should I leave it in the bag only? Or I'll again open the bag in front of everybody. I think I should keep in the pocket. But if they don't ask, then let it remain there. But if I open before everybody, people will see what is in my bag. I think I should take it out. And when I went, they didn't ask. See, this is everybody's story. I am not telling about myself. Everybody the same thing. Keep on unnecessarily getting worried. Thus, mind your mind. You have learnt everything in spirituality. And to mind the mind, these are the things to recognize. Our mind goes either in the past or in the future. Or our mind goes from this place to that place. Or our mind goes from one object to another object. These are the three venues the mind runs: time, space, and object. Out of these three, time is the most dangerous one. Mind cannot survive in the present. Who wants to die? Nobody wants to die. So also the mind. then it will keep on feeding itself. So what is the food of the mind? Past memories, future worries. And when the mind comes in the utter present, like the ice cube dissolves in the waters without making a noise, exactly the same way, the mind dissolves in the consciousness. Because water and ice are the same. Water with the shape and size is ice. Ice without shape and size is water. Similarly, consciousness with objectivity is mind. Mind minus objectivity is consciousness. That experience where experiencer is not born is the truth. That knowledge where knower is not born, that action where doer is not born, this is the truth. And the last word, whether you want or you don't want, whether you know or you don't know, you are divine. We are not condemning anything, anybody. Vedanta accepts us. We are divine as we are. But for us, no, no. I don't remember anybody's names. Just to hide my ignorance, I address people respectfully. Hey Mahatma ji, how are you? One person I asked like that. He said, Swamiji, where I am a Mahatma, don't call me Mahatma. I said, okay, fool, how are you? So when I said, oh, fool, how are you? He did not become angry because I called him fool. He was surprised. How come Swamiji also knows that I am a fool? See, friends, discover your own divinity. When you discover your own divinity, you will see divinity everywhere. The truth has to be discovered subjectively. Knowing is being. Knowing cannot remain as becoming. I am man, I know, and I am. A simultaneous experience. But becoming, I became husband. See, friends. And whatever we become, it is artificial, nakli, banawati. Thus, etad buddhva buddhiman syat krutakrtascha bharata. He who has thus discovered this, he attains fulfillment in life. What we are all struggling in our life is to fulfill our desires. And desires can never be fulfilled. You fulfill one desire, second will come, third will come. Fulfillment is that there are no loose ends left in our life. At this moment, if the death comes, we shout at her, come on, why are you late? I've been waiting for you. Because there are no loose ends. Life is complete in itself. Krutakrtyascha bharata. And he who has thus attained fulfillment in life, he has no projects, no desires to be completed. Living in this experience 24/7 is living in God. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।